If I'm challenging myself in the studio, I want to challenge you as well.
Have you heard about the timeless ballads of the Big Three? The legendary bands behind the magic, whose music has shaped generations and defined genres, standing as pillars in musical history. And did you know that the Big Three collectively have over 30 Grammy Awards? With their iconic sounds and groundbreaking albums, they continue to captivate audiences worldwide, defining the essence of music. Here's the Big Three from worst to best now when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. In the last place, we've got J. Cole's debut album, Cole World Sideline Story. Well, it's not a bad album, but it's missing some of the magic that made J. Cole's mixtape so captivating. As a J. Cole fan, you'll find plenty of great moments showing why he became such a force in the game. But there are also a lot of songs on this album that feels like they were put there just to boost sales. So at number 15, we've got another Drake album, Certified Lover Boy. Similar to For All the Dogs, its biggest problem is that it feels more like a product than genuinely great music. For every great moment, there's just too much going around. So at number 14, Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. This one often gets overlooked in Drake's lineup, but it's definitely worth your attention. It might not have all the hype or flashy stuff like his later albums, but it shows a really hungry side of Drake. He's hustling hard to prove himself in the rap game, and it really pays off here. Well, it might not shine as bright compared to his other albums, but it's a heartfelt album that matches its ambition with quality tracks, some of which have been underrated as Drake's fame has grown. So, at number 13, there's another Drake album, Scorpion from 2018. Now, commercially, this album was massive, with a whopping 25 songs making it his longest one yet. Scorpion is a double album, with his first half showcasing Drake's rap skills and the second half focusing on his singing. But with its hour-and-a-half runtime and tracks feeling disconnected, it just doesn't flow well. Instead of proving Drake's status as the ultimate hip-hop artist, it kinda shows how scattered he was at this point in his career. So, at number 12, we've got J. Cole's fifth studio album, K.O.D. Now, this album is kind of frustrating because it had such an important message about addiction in hip-hop and culture. Cole really wanted to tackle this topic, but the execution fell short. He couldn't dive deep enough into the concept, and the whole album feels incomplete. From surface-level ideas to half-baked concepts, so it just doesn't hit the mark. But overall, K.O.D. falls short of its potential. It could have been his best album, but in reality, it's one of the weakest. So, at number 11, we've got J. Cole's fourth studio album, For Close Your Eyes Only. This album has been all over the place over the years. On one side, there's some incredible storytelling from Cole, some of his absolute best, but then there are parts of this album that makes you cringe. But despite all the flaws and gripes about certain tracks, contains Cole's finest work. But even with its lows, it reaches some incredible heights. So, at number 10, we've got J. Cole's The Off Season. Well, this album had it higher up because J. Cole's flow here is just mind-blowing. It's one of the most captivating performances ever, showcasing his lyrical prowess like he's ready to take on any artist out there. But here's the thing. Lately, Cole's actions have kinda made those performances feel a bit empty. Despite all that, The Off Season is still a solid record. At number 9, we've got J. Cole's sophomore studio album, Born Sinner. Well, this is like Cole's true introduction to the world. This is where he laid down the groundwork for everything. The production here is blending elements from hip-hop's past and present, while Cole's lyrical game became sharper and more relatable. So at number 8, we've got Kendrick Lamar's debut album, Section 80. This album marks Kendrick's entry and shows us that he's destined to be one of the all-time greats. This album is a complete and well-thought-out record that reaches heights most rappers can only dream of. It outlines everything that makes Kendrick the force he is in the rap world today. So, Coming in at number 7, we've got Drake's sophomore album, Take Care. With this album, Drake creates an experience that's pretty much as close to perfect as it gets, especially for him. It's got everything you'd want in a blockbuster rap album, iconic hits, but also from a lineup of features like Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, Andre 3000, and even Stevie Wonder. This album shows Drake not just aiming for mainstream success, but striving for something timeless. And Drake really nailed down what makes his sound unique, giving his record so much personality. Even little detail adds to the moody yet luxurious vibe of the project. Hearing Drake switch from fiery tracks to pouring out his heartbreak. So, at number 6, we've got J. Cole's third studio album, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. This album is just undeniably fantastic. It's like Cole's masterpiece. Throughout Forest Hills Drive, Cole delivers what might just be the performance of his lifetime. He takes that relatability that made Born Sinner so amazing. He gets more personal than ever, rapping about his fears growing up and how fame has shaped him. So, at number 5, we've got Drake's third studio album, Nothing Was the Same. This album shows how incredible he can be when he's fully committed to his craft. It creates this epic atmosphere where every track feels significant and meaningful. With Drake delivering some of his best lyrics yet, each song feels like he's navigating the highs and lows of his life in a genuine way, and he's not afraid to show how tough things used to be for him and still can be. So, at top 4, we've got Kendrick's 2017 album, Damn. Now, this record was seemingly designed to be Kendrick's most commercial yet. It doesn't just deliver some of the most exciting bangers of the late 2010s, it also manages to be one of the most complex and well thought out concept albums in hip-hop. Now, top 3. We've got Kendrick Lamar's most recent album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Kendrick took the greatest risk of his career with this album, constructing himself to find inner peace. Through an insane track list that pushes the boundaries of hip-hop, Kendrick gives us his entire heart. As time goes on, more listeners will realize just how important this album is, with one of Kendrick's best and one of the best in rap history. At number 2, we've got Kendrick Lamar's sophomore studio album, Good Kid, Mad City. It's pretty much unanimously agreed upon that this album is one of the best rap albums of all time. It's a genius concept album that dives into Kendrick's life growing up in Compton. It made us realize that the younger generation has serious power to shape the music scene. This album is intense, it's entertaining, it's raw, it's personal. Finally, at number 1, we've got To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. Now, it might not be the most accessible or pop-friendly album, but to true hip-hop fans, it's pure gold. In fact, some consider it one of the greatest pieces of work ever made. It consists of everything hip-hop can be as a form of expression. From its incredible storytelling to the raw emotion Kendrick pours into every track, it's just mind-blowing. And let's not forget about the jazz-inspired sounds and the powerful poetry that ties it all together. Even Kanye himself was blown away by it. Each of his albums brings something unique and masterful to the table, putting him miles ahead of the competition. Here's a thought to wrap it up. Can anyone else in hip-hop truly rival Kendrick Lamar's artistic brilliance? Drop your comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.